Hey everybody, I thought I'd give you a quick tutorial on how to make this boiling sun. It's an effect I used for my short film Icarus. So let's jump into it. First things first is we need to make a new composition. A standard 1920 by 1080 will be fine. We will call this our master comp. Set to 24 frames per second. Inside of our master comp, we need to make a new solid. And in this new solid, we don't want it to be pure black. We kind of want it to be an off black. So somewhere around here is fine. Now we need to make our sun. So we need to make a new shape layer. And then we need to align this so that it's distributed in the center. Once we have our shape layer, we need to rename it and call it sun because we always have to name our layers. Once we've named a layer, we need to apply an effect called optical glow. Set your amount to something low like 4 and set your size up to something like 157. Once that's done, we make a new composition. Same size, but this will be called clouds. Again, we make a new solid. And then we apply a turbulent noise to this solid. In our turbulent noise settings, we turn our complexity up to something like 15. We turn our contrast up to something like 360. We can bring down our brightness just a touch. We then add an expression to our evolution. Time times 20. We then increase our animation speed to something like 74. And we enable auto animate. So now we have this kind of flowing, cloudy looking texture. Inside of our master comp, what we need to do now is to drag our cloud composition inside our master comp. Set your blending mode to overlay, and now we need to create an adjustment layer, and on this adjustment layer we apply a compound blur effect. In our settings, we change this to our clouds and get it to use effects and mask. And then you just dial up the maximum blur. Now you can add a chromatic displacement effector. And again, you set this to clouds and change it to effects and mask. And then it's a case of just dialing in these settings here. So we put our soften displacement layer down to 2, and then we choose our displace amount. So you can go really crazy with this, but I would suggest keeping it quite subtle. And this really is the bones of our system here. The rest is more about stylization. So let's create another adjustment layer and let's add lux. And in here we can really just do whatever we want just to make this image feel a bit more cinematic. So this really is just kind of press a bunch of buttons until it looks nice. So I like to put chromatic aberration on everything. Again, try and be subtle with these effects. I like to put a shutter streak on there. Again, make it super subtle. We can then use a clarity, and we can just bump this up ever so slightly. This is to make some of the lines a little bit crispier. Next up, we will select Mojo. And after Mojo, we will select Halation, setting it to anamorphic, adding a noise, whatever one you think fits your image best. I kind of like a super grainy image. I also like the kind of standard glows you can get from the optical diffusion. This one looks cool. And then we can potentially add a haze flare, and we can kind of dial the spillage up so we get a little bit more of that bleeding into the image. And that's essentially how you go about making this effect work. What's cool about this is if you copy your glow and you replace your sun image, you can get this effect to work on typography, images, motion, pretty much whatever you want. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I'd be really keen to see what you make with this effect. Cheers, bye bye.